Thank you, everybody. I'm going to whiz through this presentation, I hope fairly rapidly, so that we're in time for lunch. It's on the summary of international standards and the role of government in setting standards. Here is a map of countries with that use the Carisco standard, and they have the Carisco template to generate their own standard. As we saw earlier, Mongolia, Kazakhstan and Brazil are fairly recent joining to the Carisco, and the countries in pink are the countries where we are talking to and with a view to setting up a standard with them. Carisco aligned standards are now developed for most major centres for mining capital. As I said, the ongoing discussions are with the countries in pink. Now, a national reporting organisation represents either a single country or a defined group of countries. In the case of Europe, it is a defined group of countries. Otherwise, it's generally a single country. And that develops, it develops and is responsible for the reporting code and the standards and guidelines. And there can be, associated with this, there can be single or multiple professional bodies or recognised professional organisations. And there may be other participating bodies as advisors or observers. And obviously, it's made up of practicing mineral professionals and experts. There is usually company representation. There's regulatory and government agencies and stock exchanges. But national reporting organisations are self-funded and managed bodies. Their structures and organisational arrangements may vary depending on national or regional needs. And Carisco doesn't define or direct the activities of NROs. NROs can act also as so National Reporting Organisation can act as the recognised professional organisation, and there's no one standard. This is just a bit of history. The whole movement was started off in Australasia in 1989. I'll go through this fairly quickly because it can be seen on the website. But in 1994, the CMMI, a working group was formed and they did the Denver Accord on the definitions of reserves and resources in 1997. JORC was updated in 1992 and 1996. And then you can see the IMM in 1991 had its code similar to JORC. 1999, SAMREC joined for South Africa. 1999 SME for United States, and then SAMREC, and then the CIM for Canada. And then the European version became the European Reporting Code. And then, if you like, in 2006, the Uniting Together and the Carisco template was published. And then after that, we have a series of new countries joining: Chile, PERC, updated their code. PERC came into being as it is now and produced an updated code. Russia joined with the Nyan code, and then 2014 MRC joined with Mongolia, Brazil, and Kazakhstan more recently. And lower down, you can see that several of the codes have been updated at various points. Requirements of an NRO is that it should produce and maintain a reporting standard compatible with the Carisco template that's recognised as a standard for public reporting or has got at least wide support of local professional bodies. It has to consult other NROs before amending a reporting standard, and that's to maintain alignment and consistency. It must include credible self-regulating professional bodies who've got to provide codes of ethics and discipline, and these govern the behaviour of competent persons. And it must have active support for Carisco activities, and typically it sends 2 representatives to Carisco meetings. And compatibility with the Carisco template means a standard that's largely based on the template with national variations as required by regulators, that's financial regulators, but with minimal variation on the standard definitions contained in the template. For government reporting, mapping to existing classification systems is permitted, but compatibility is not achieved by linking a national reporting system to the template by mapping alone. This is just a comparison of the standards. I won't go through this entirely. There's a series of different aspects on the vertical axis and all the different NROs on the horizontal axis. We can see that the SEC in the United States has not completely adopted the Carisco aligned standard on the upper line. On the second line, the NI 43101 in Canada is the I can't even see that. Anyway, in the case of the competent or qualified person requirement, that again is not taken on board by the USA SEC. If we take inferred mineral resources, are they allowed in economic studies? In Australia, with JORC, they're not. And other countries have, Canada has a sort of qualified acceptance. Again, the SEC in the United States has a commodity price process specified by the regulator. It specifies the price that you will calculate your mineral resources and reserves. I'll leave you perhaps to look at this on the website. So the role of the government is to maintain databases of mineral endowments, and it will probably maintain a national register of deposits and deposit potential. It also regulates the mining sector relating to the management and use of mineral assets. It regulates the reporting disclosures and standards. This gives investor protection for market-based economies, and it also sets investment conditions for planned economies. Those databases of published reserves and resources, you may have state reporting with a national reporting system, which may include mineral deposit occurrences and geological environments, and it provides for exchanges and sharing of data with other countries. The mineral potential is the country potential, and it may have a state rating or ranking. Strategic minerals, such as uranium and so on, will have specialized databases for particular commodities. Another one is rare earth elements, for example. Public policy is to identify the country's strengths and weaknesses in natural resources, and that's to guide long-term public investment and provide incentive policies for mining. So the government also provides legislation and regulation relating to mineral deposits. It sets license periods and the minimum deliverables to maintain those licenses, and the requirements for moving between development stages, for example, from exploration to production. On investment, it ensures commitment by establishing investment requirements and the mechanism for reallocating land for which investment requirements are not met. On land allocation, it may safeguard mineral deposits from other development. So if you have a valuable mineral deposit, you may wish to prevent, say, housing development being put there. It may allocate land for mining or restrict mining in environmentally sensitive or military areas. It may also govern the public disclosure of reserves and resources. It may say when reporting is required, how disclosures are made, and who receives the information and in what format. It may say what's recorded, what is reported, and who can report. And it says what standards are acceptable within the jurisdiction, and it maps the state reporting systems to other disclosure standards. And thank you very much.
Thanks Mark. Birkaç soru varsa bir iki tane soru alabiliriz. Buyurun Semih Bey. Kendinizi de tanıtırsanız, tanımayanlar olabilir.
Herkese merhaba. Semih Demircan. Soru değil de katkı, şu ana kadar gelen şeylerle alakalı bir özet yapalım.
Lütfen, buyurun.
Pardon. Yani 2008 yılında belki bilirsiniz bu sektör, bu raporlamalar, kodlar ne işe yarıyor? Bunu özetleyecek bir şey aslında baktığınızda. Bir şirket borsada, ismini vermiyoruz, işte 4500 hektarlık bir sahanın 450 hektarlık sahasında yaptığı rakamları özellikle telaffuz ediyorum ki hani şeyi görün, hani inferred, indicated, measured veya potansiyel ne oluyor? 5700 metre sondajla 30 ton altın, işte 400 ton gümüş, şu kadar zirkonyum borsaya açılıyor bu haber ve hisseleri gidiyor. Çok ciddi bir gelir hisse sahipleri için veya küçük yatırımcı için de bir büyük kayıp. Bunun gibi yani aslında günün sonunda neden çıktı, nereye geldi, neden bunlar var, bu standartlar var? Yani duyduğumuz hikayeler insanların dolandırılması, yatırımcıların dolandırılmasını engellemek, bir standart getirmek. Yani 450 hektarda 4500-5000 metre sondajla jeolog arkadaşlar, madenci arkadaşlar bilecekler. Böyle bir rakam rapor edemezsiniz. Yani potansiyel bile diyemezsiniz belki yani. Hiçbir şey yok. Bunun özeti buraya kadar gelen nokta işte data fazlalaşsın, emek fazlalaşsın, para harcayın ve şeffaflığı yerine getirin hesabıyla yapılmış, geliştirilmiş raporlar. Yani bu katkı olarak söylüyorum. Bir tane örnek. Böyle bir standart olsaydı Türkiye'de UMREK olarak ismini şu anda nitelendiriyoruz. Öyle bir açıklamayı borsaya yapamazdı o şirket. Bir ek yapacağım MİGEM için. MİGEM'de mesela arama projelerinden işletme projesine geçiyorsunuz. En azından MİGEM UMREK raporunu istemese bile UMREK standartını veya JORC standartı neyse kaynak ve rezerv raporunu talep etmeli. Yapılan çalışmaların kalitesini arttırmak ve işin devamlılığını sağlamak adına.
Teşekkürler Semih Bey, sağ olun. Buyurun Hüseyin Bey. Bir mikrofon verebilir miyiz Hüseyin Bey?
Yes, I can comment.
Mark, do you wanna? Yes, please.
Yeah, if that's right.
Hüseyin Bey bir saniye Mark'tan şey yapalım. Buyurun, please Mark. Please.
Yeah. Yes, I think that by adopting Carisco code, it's not all suddenly going to be perfect at all. We're all working towards a particular goal of perfection. We can't say that the whole of the Carisco code is perfect, or that's the reason why we have periodic updates. But it is it is becoming a commonly accepted international standard that a whole lot of people, many countries now follow, and I kind of feel they can't all be wrong. And I think it's again, going back to the idea of safety, we know that if we introduce a safety policy into a mining company, it doesn't suddenly make everyone safer, but you really have to work at applying it and make sure that everyone's on board and everyone is applying sometimes what seem unnatural practices, but in the sake of safety. And this is again in investment safety. And I think that's we strive for perfection in the knowledge that we may never actually get there. Thank you.
Buyurun Hüseyin Bey, sorunuzu alın.
Teşekkür ediyorum. Önce şunu sormak istiyorum ben Sayın Marka. Bir non-government kuruluşlardan bahsettiniz. Bir de government'ın, yani hükümetlerin yapması gereken görevler üzerinde bazı düşünceler ifade ettiniz. Carisco'yu tek kelimeyle tariflerseniz bir non-government kuruluş mudur yoksa bir hükümet kuruluşu mudur? Nasıl bir yapıdır? Yani bunu tek kelimeyle tanımlarsanız.
Yes, Carisco is entirely non-governmental. Right? Some of the NROs require governmental assistance to basically get started and get moving. So, for example, Mongolia has had it's been a governmental push to get Mongolia, the organisation in Mongolia started, and I believe that's similar in Kazakhstan. And I think that actually the Mongolia and Kazakhstan and probably Brazil experience is very relevant to Turkey, where the government has tended to help start these things off, but then after if you like, once the baby is beginning to be able to walk and talk, it's then backing off, and it becomes more part of. Perhaps Harry might be able to give a bit more comment on that. The progression from being, say, in the case of Mongolia, the progression from being assisted by the government to start with, and then moving away from the government. What would you say?
Mongolia had old Russian standards, and they had a lot of foreign investment coming into the country from Canada and Australia, and they were getting reports which were written according to the JORC code or CIM definition standards, and they wanted to modernize their system. So the government basically said, let's develop a Carisco type system. And this took a bit of time before everybody agreed. But once it was agreed, there were a couple of people from the ministry which were appointed to assist in the process. And they helped. And once the code and everything was in place and Carisco was, Mongolia became a member of Carisco, one of the government people basically resumed his private consulting practice, and the other one stayed in government. And so people can go back and forth.